Hi, this is Attorney Mike Griffin coming to you from Chicago as usual, and today we're going to look at sovereign citizen court fail number 2. Let's do it.
Okay, we are on the record now in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Juan Roberto Jaso. It is file number 20-19801-FH. Today is the date set for a pretrial as well as a motion hearing on the motion to withdraw as attorney filed for defendant filed by Mr. Noe.
Well, of course, we're off to a good start. He's been charged with something, but here we are on a motion to withdraw as attorney of record. I'm guessing that's a public defender, and he is trying to get out of representing this particular defendant because, of course, he's a sovereign citizen and he won't listen to him.
We are proceeding today as a video conference as opposed to in person due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and we are streaming the video conference to YouTube channel in order to meet the court's obligation to provide public access to its proceedings. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearances on the record and indicate whether they have any objection to proceeding in the way that I described, beginning with Ms. Brenner.
Good morning, Your Honor. Sarah Brunner, Assistant Attorney General for the People. I do not have any objection to proceeding as described.
Thank you, and Mr. Noe.
Good morning, Your Honor. Charles Noe appearing on behalf of the defendant, Juan Jaso. We have no objection to proceeding as the court has indicated on the record.
All right. So as an initial matter, we have a motion to withdraw from representation that has been filed by Mr. Noe. Mr. Noe, is there anything that you'd like to say regarding the motion?
Yes, just briefly, Your Honor. There's been a breakdown of the attorney-client relationship pretty severely between myself and Mr. Jaso. I don't really want to get into specifics because I'm representing him and I don't want to act against his interest. But there have been some pretty serious breakdowns and some disagreements on the course of representation.
I can relate to this a little too much. I've actually withdrawn on cases before, and I know exactly what the attorney is going through here. You want to get out, and why you want to get out usually is the fact that your client is crazy, but you don't want to say that and prejudice their case and them going forward. At the same time, your client and you want to part ways, so you have to say enough to get out. So that's just where we're at.
Hi, this is Ali with the Sovereign Citizen Patrol, and thanks to all your generous support, I'm getting belly scratches. So please remember to hit like and subscribe so it gets some more.
And the direction that the representation will head. I do not believe that this time that I can represent Mr. Jaso the way he wants to be represented. And I believe that I cannot represent him properly at this time. And I would ask to withdraw at this time from representation. I'm not sure how Mr. Jaso feels about that, to tell you the truth.
Mr. Jaso, Mr. Noe has requested that he be allowed to withdraw as your attorney in this case. Do you have any response to that?
Absolutely, Your Honor. Number one, I definitely want to state to the courts that I have to challenge personal jurisdiction, number one, Your Honor, and I understand you want to determine whether I'm going to receive a legal representation.
Well, thank you for making my case on my motion to withdraw better than I ever could have. The attorney was tripping all over himself to not say anything bad about the defendant. And of course, the defendant comes out and starts with the jurisdictional thing and all sorts of other craziness, which makes it clear to the judge why exactly the attorney cannot represent him.
Or not. However, that was our problem as far as me and Mr. Noe goes. And I had asked him to file a certain few motions to the courts, which he did not. And he claims that he represented me, but I'm claiming he did not represent me.
He refused to file my motion to challenge jurisdiction of the court. He refused to file my motion to say that I'm a UCC filing and not a human being. He refused to file my motion to say that I was engaged in my unfettered right to travel while I committed the offense, and I just can't get along with him.
And again, I'm saying I am not that name. That name is a fictional corporation. That name is a straw man. That name is a legal person. That name is the estate, and I am the man. And you
Mr. Jaso, your audio has cut out at the very end there. I need you to repeat just the very last thing that you said.
Meh, don't worry about it, Judge. We all know it made no sense whatsoever.
I'm still not getting any audio for you, Mr. Jaso. Okay, I can hear you now.
Seemed to be there was some sort of a breakdown. It stated it came up on my computer that there was a breakdown in.
All right, so Mr. Jaso, are you objecting to Mr. Noe's withdrawal as your attorney?
Did we lose him?
I can hear you now, but it did fall out.
All right, are you objecting, Mr. Jaso, to Mr. Noe withdrawing as your attorney?
It's hard to tell here if this is a problem with the technology or if it's just his complete lack of understanding.
No, I don't believe he can represent me in a fully. And that was the breakdown in our relationship. He wasn't representing me according to what I believe.
Well, here I'll give him a break. That's actually a rational statement. He was not representing you according to the things that you believe. That is correct. The things that you believe are wrong. The problem that he's got that you don't have is that he's an officer of the court. And if he files something that's not well-based in law and fact or a good faith extension thereof, he can get sanctioned or have problems. He's not going to file the motions you want to file because they're not. They're not a good faith argument based on the facts and law. And he has consequences for it and you don't. So if you want to persist with those sorts of things, I guess you will have to represent yourself.
Are my right and so forth.
All right, so at this time then I will grant Mr. Noe's motion to withdraw from representation. Mr. Noe, would you prepare an order granting your motion?
Of course, I'll have that prepared within a day or two and have that submitted to the court.
All right. Mr. Jaso, would you like some additional time to seek a new attorney?
At this point, again, Your Honor, I'm going to challenge jurisdiction. I don't believe we have jurisdiction. The personal jurisdiction has I don't think it has been established. So, I mean, first and foremost, I do not wish to waive any of my personal jurisdiction rights. And again, I want to state for the courts, that name is not me. That is a straw man. That is a legal person. That's the estate. That's a fictitious corporation. I am the man, and you may refer to me as John, please.
John?
Yes, please.
All right, so do you want some additional time to seek a new attorney?
I just don't even know what to do with that level of stupid. I'm going to ask the question again.
I wish to raise jurisdiction now, Your Honor. Asserting my constitutional rights and jurisdiction has not been proven or established. That's what I wish to raise at this point in time. And from my understanding, jurisdiction can be challenged at any given time in any proceedings. And I wish to proceed and raise jurisdiction at this moment.
Yeah, we've heard you don't think there's jurisdiction. Of course, you know there's jurisdiction, but we've heard that's all you've said multiple times. This is pretty good here. Coming up, the judge handles it really well, I think. Watch the bottom right. The prosecutor, Sarah Brenner, I guess they're calling her Assistant Attorney General. Watch her facial expression as he unloads his next pile of stupid.
And also, again, for the record and on the record, and I'd like the record to reflect, I am not that name. I am the man, living, breathing man. That name is a fictitious corporation. It is the legal name. It is the estate. It is the straw man. That is not me. And I wish to address jurisdiction at this point in time, Your Honor.
All right, you've raised this issue of jurisdiction, Mr. Jaso. You've not made any comprehensible argument as to why the court would not have jurisdiction over you. The name of a person is not legally a straw man, a corporation, or an estate. A name refers to a human being. The court has jurisdiction over human beings, and at this point, I'm going to deny your request to the extent that you've made it, that the court dismiss the case because it does not have jurisdiction over you. I do find that the court does have jurisdiction over you, but I will protect your right to raise that issue in the future if you would like to have another attorney represent you. So again, would you like some additional time to seek new representation in this case?
Let me add this to the courts as well, Your Honor. I am not here voluntarily. I'm not here. I'm here under duress, under threat, under coercion, because I am here. I am not here on my own free will. Other than duress, threats, and coercion. And
oh, this just makes me insane. I hear it so often, this argument that they're under duress or whatever. They're not there of their own free will. No criminal defendant in the history of criminal law has ever been in court of their own free will. They're all there because they want to avoid penalties under the criminal code to the extent possible. That's how the law is designed.
You are asking me to assert whether I will be receiving an attorney at law being here to represent me, and that is impossible, unlawful, and illegal, and it is against your constitutional oath to force one upon me. And at this point in time, I'd like to establish jurisdiction because I have not received any establishment of jurisdiction.
Mr. Jaso, I've just done that for the moment. My finding as the judge in this court is that this court does have jurisdiction over you as a person. And if you would like some additional time to have an attorney review this and present another motion regarding the jurisdiction, I'm willing to allow you to do that, because you haven't made any argument here today that supports the notion that this court does not have jurisdiction over you. It does. And so that is how we are proceeding. And so your choice right now is whether you want some additional time to seek a new attorney or not.
I would like some more personal time, Your Honor. I would definitely request that.
This is my favorite of the whole clip. He wants some more personal time. Oh, these substitutes are always in their feelings. I don't get what he asked him if he wants time to get an attorney. He says he wants personal time. I love it.
So that I can get some things in order and file some motions.
And Your Honor, I do have a bond motion when the court's ready to hear that.
Is that something you filed or something you're making orally this morning?
No, Your Honor, I brought it up orally at the last hearing, and you said I could bring it up again at this hearing. The defendant's bond was reduced and with the terms that he pay $500 a week, and he agreed to that in district court when we started this case out. He has failed to make any payments and continued to violate the law since he hasn't paid anything since July of 2020. And the bond agreements were very specific. His counsel and I agreed to that at the time, his counsel, Mr. Noe, and he had established that with Mr. Jaso. And he did pay at the beginning and complied, but now he's not complying and he's violating his bond conditions, and I would ask for him to be remanded at this time.
last two proceedings, the judge, you also stated that that stipulation was not on the bond specifically, and we continue to adjourn, as well as last time you denied that request for that bond to be reprimanded.
All right, given the fact that Mr. Noe has withdrawn as the attorney for Mr. Jaso, and the fact that he has requested time to seek an additional attorney, what I'm going to do is adjourn this pretrial until May 19th at 8:15 a.m.
Well, that actually really surprised me. Whatever this guy did, and I don't know what the underlying charges are. He had a bond where he was supposed to pay $500 a month. And he hasn't paid since July. I'm shocked that the judge didn't remand him into custody right there. I get it. It's a Zoom hearing, so he has to send officers out. And that's the one thing. It's easy to criticize from a distance, but you don't know what the judge is dealing with. Maybe he's just being too lenient, or maybe the population in the jail there is high right now. Maybe he doesn't, he knows that they're short-staffed with officers, or maybe they aren't. I don't know, but I'm just saying there are other things at play here. But the fact that the attorney withdrew, it really shouldn't have anything to do with it as far as I'm concerned. This guy's not in violation of his bond conditions, and he should be picked up and incarcerated. That's it.
Mr. Jaso, you'll log in with all of the same information. You'll have until that time to seek a new attorney to represent you.
May 19th.
With respect
For that, I'm sorry,
May,
Your Honor.
May 19th.
And the time was?
At 8:15 a.m.
Before we go, since we still have Mr. Noe, can you confirm on the record that that was the agreement for the original bond conditions?
I don't, honestly, I remember something, Ms. Brenner, I don't remember exactly what it
You
was.
don't remember? Okay, thank you.
I'm sure that the bond conditions are in the file. Ms. Brenner, what I'm going to do with respect to your request at this time is not make a ruling on that, since I'm going to give Mr. Jaso the opportunity to find a new attorney, and I will address that issue on May 19th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. With that, then we can conclude with this hearing, and you can all go ahead and log out.
Well, there you have it. Another sovereign citizen making horrible, horrible decisions. He asked for his attorney to withdraw. His attorney does file a motion to withdraw, and that actually happens there. And I saw both the attorney and the defendant talk, and I gotta say, he's much better off with that attorney representing him. But he's gonna have it his way, and that his way is probably gonna be a conviction, if not some additional contempt.
Here at Law Talk, we do a lot of videos answering common legal questions. We also do reviews of law in the movies and then on TV. We also share some of our more interesting cases. We're always putting out new videos. So if you like that, please hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell.